All right, we're going to call this workshop to order, and we'll move on down. And Section 2 will be approval of the agenda. 2.1, changes to agenda and approval of agenda. And we do have one change on the consent agenda. Item 8.119 was corrected from exempted purchase over $25,000 to tag-on bid purchase over $25,000, and that was Playmore Recreational Products and Services. And then we'll move to Section 3. We have no recognitions. Section 4 will be visitors. 4.1, Bernadette Sims and Ann Johnston on behalf of Okaloosa Public Arts. Donation in the amount of $2,000 to each high school art department. Then we have quite a few appointments on Monday night. So Section 5 is administrative personnel appointments. 5.1, appointment of assistant principal to 10-month Davidson Middle School. 5.2, appointment of assistant principal to 10-month Shoal River Middle School. 5.3, appointment of assistant principal to 10-month Silver Sand School. 5.4, appointment of assistant principal to 10-month Pryor Middle School. 5.5, appointment of assistant principal to 10-month Plu Elementary School. And then 5.6, appointment of deputy superintendent. And school board members, you should have got an email yesterday regarding all of these appointments. And 6.1 will be public comment. Members of the public desiring to address the school board, form MIS 5241, public input and or discussion of agenda items. And we will not know until Monday night if we have any public comment. And Section 7, committee and staff report. 7.1, in-county travel paid for the period of June 10th through the 23rd, 2021. And 7.2, out-of-county travel paid for the period of June 10th through the 23rd, 2021. And now we'll move to the consent agenda. And again, school board members, at any time, just stop me if you have a question regarding any item on the consent agenda. So 8.1 will be approval of the consent agenda. 8.2, approval of the minutes of the student disciplinary hearing of June 24th, 2021, minutes of workshop meeting of June 24th, 2021, minutes of regular meeting of June 28th, 2021. 8.3, appropriation of District 1 School Board member capital outlay funds to Choctawhatchee High School for the auditorium lighting upgrade in the amount of $15,838 presented by Dr. Lamar White. 8.4, appropriation of District 1 School Board member capital outlay funds to Pryor Middle School for office flooring in the amount of $16,505.60 presented by Dr. Lamar White. 8.5, appropriation of District 3 School Board member capital outlay funds to Pryor Middle School for exterior painting in the amount of $15,000 presented by Ms. Linda Vanchek. 8.6, appropriation of District 4 School Board member capital outlay funds to Davidson Middle School for cafeteria tables in the amount of $7,239.15 presented by myself. 8.7, appropriation of District 4 School Board member capital outlay funds to Riverside Elementary School for hallway flooring in the amount of $9,760.96. And then 8.8, authorization to advertise the proposed preliminary and tentative budget and millage rate for fiscal year 2021 through 2022. And that will be presented by Julie Perry, our interim chief financial officer. 8.9, letter of engagement between the School Board of Okaloosa County and Carr, Riggs & Ingram, LLC to audit school internal funds for a year ended June 30, 2021. 8.10, invoices to be approved for payment. 8.11, school donations. 8.12, request to increase purchase order 21003302 issued to WDR Mechanical Contractors Incorporated. 8.13, sole source purchase over $25,000, CAE Healthcare Incorporated. 8.14, renewal of ITB 18-14 physical and occupational therapy. 8.15, tag on bid over $25,000 to Stepping Stones Group LLC. 8.16, tag on bid ITB 3873AH food service large equipment. 8.17 exempted purchase over $25,000 into Y. 8.18 exempted purchase over $25,000 IXL. 8.19 tag on bid purchase over $25,000 Playmore Recreational Products and Services. 8.20 service agreement number 22-23 Abigail Reynolds. 8.21 service agreement number 22-24 Michael Hoppenjohn. 8.22 service agreement number 22-25 Jamie Fields. 8.23 service agreement number 22-29 Modern Therapeutics LLC. 8.24 service agreement number 22-31 Kiera Watson. 8.25 service agreement number 22-32 John MacArthur. 8.26 service agreement number 22-38 Gabriella Lako Mitchell. 8.27 service agreement number 22-43 Robin Coley. 8.28 service agreement number 22-44 Caitlin Sneed. 8.29 service agreement number 22-45 Laura Riddle. 8.30 interagency agreement between the School Board of Okaloosa County and the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office. 8.31 Safer Watch Motorola Solutions Mobile Panic Alert System for District Schools. 8.32 Sale and Disposal of Surplus Property. 8.33 Transportation Managers to be compensated for driving school bus routes during non-duty hours.
Mr. Bryan, I have a comment, sir.
Yes, sir.
All
You proceed, Mr.
Just
Applewhite.
to say and to share with my colleagues on the school board that I certainly intend to support this particular recommendation of Superintendent Chambers. I think we all know that we've had to make some other adjustments and incentives in this critical shortage area. And so thereby, I do intend to support it. I would expect the superintendent would come back to us maybe in a year and give us some feedback, let us know how that worked and if that's something that we ought to continue. But those were just my thoughts on this particular matter.
Well, I support Jay McGinnis. He called and spoke, and supporting his employees and doing what's right with these
Correct.
employees. And as you said, we are shorthanded with needing bus drivers. So if anybody's out there and would like to work with a great supervisor, Jay McGinnis is out there.
That's
But
right.
I do appreciate Jay taking care of his employees.
All right, thank you. 8.34 Vehicle Maintenance Inspection and Repair Agreement with Vehicle Lease Option between the School Board of Okaloosa County and Destin High School Incorporated. 8.35 School Food Service Updated a la carte pricing for elementary and secondary schools for 2021 through 2022 school year.
And we could just point out that there are no price increases so that the public is aware of that and the parents are prepared with that information.
But also on that, I believe we're still offering
Mr. Horton.
lunch to everybody, right? Free
This
lunch
summer.
to everyone?
Yes, ma'am. So free meals, breakfast, and lunch for all students for the 21-22 school year, just like we did last year. This a la carte pricing menu would be those separate items that
Extra.
students could elect to purchase aside from that. But yes, ma'am, all students will eat free regular lunch and
That's
breakfast.
amazing.
And Mr. Horton, just a question, sir. So when we say free meals to everyone, if I remember correctly, that has something to do with the federal food program and reimbursement, is that correct?
Yes, sir. And so that is something that's directed at the federal level, and it came about last year when the pandemic hit. And so the school district and our nutrition group partners still receive the proceeds from producing those meals because we obviously have cost involved. So we do get reimbursed for those meals that we provide
By the federal government?
by the federal government. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I think when we spoke, you mentioned we still are encouraging parents to fill out free and reduced lunch applications.
Yes,
correct?
ma'am. We know that's critical to our Title I school identification, and so this will be the second year that everyone's been able to eat free, and so we're still working, and Amy Dale does a great job with our school principals to continue to stress the importance of doing that for the district and for resources that go back to the schools themselves. So those schools that are identified Title I do get those extra resources, so it's important to keep identifying those as we move forward.
So,
And again, those resources come from the federal government?
Title I program, yes, sir, from the federal government.
So Ms. Gardner brings up a good point about making sure parents still fill out the necessary paperwork so we can identify, the Title I schools. What are we doing to get that message out?
So we usually have that on our website. Of course, at the beginning of the year, in a traditional year, students are grandfathered for 30 days to be able to receive free meals, so there's no cutoff of service, and the schools work that first 30 days to get those applications complete. If they need to do them paper-based, they can. If the parents can complete the application online. A couple of years ago, we started working with back-to-school events with local organizations, whether it be church or community groups, and we've set up tables there as well. So it's a multi-phased approach to try and get that done, and we'll continue to push that out on all of our social media and events and everywhere we can.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Horton. Any other questions or comments? So now we'll move down to 8.36, waiver of the OCEA master contract requested by Riverside Elementary to allow grade levels to vote regarding splitting supplements for the 2021 through 2022 school year. 8.37, waiver of the OCEA master contract requested by the Okalusa STEM Academy to waive the daily planning period requirement for the 2021-2022 school year. 8.38, waiver of the OCEA master contract requested by Okalusa Technical College to waive the standard school calendar for the 2021-2022 school year. 8.39, 2021 through 2022 career dual enrollment articulation agreement between Okalusa Technical College and the public high schools of the school district of Okaloosa County. 8.40, 2021 through 2022 career dual enrollment articulation agreement for home education students of Okaloosa County. 8.41, Florida Post-Secondary Comprehensive Transition Program Startup Grant Agreement.
I have a- I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
This really sparked my interest, not only because it's close to a $900,000 grant, but it's also working with students with unique abilities. And I saw Kelly Hayes here, and I know Jeff Palmer, you were submitting, but I asked Kelly if she would just kind of share this information, because it really is exciting to see what our school is doing and how we are partnering with, I think it's University Central Florida. Mhm.
Yes, ma'am. So when we looked at this grant a little over a year ago, we were really excited about it, and I wish Mr. Williams was here because he worked really hard on this for the last year and putting this all together, working with University of Central Florida and making sure we had the right program. So as we began to put this program together, we looked across Okaloosa County, Walton County, and there really was no program here that allowed that transition from high school to the workforce for students with disabilities or unique abilities, adult students with those unique abilities. So our grant was, the original startup is to get the people employed who are going to be able to guide these students into becoming workforce members, that they can have careers that are not only entry level, but that will sustain them for life. So that's the whole premise there. And Ms. Gardner, I don't know if you had any other specifics you wanted me to answer?
No, I read through it,
Okay.
and I'm just very aware that once these students reach 22, I think it's the age that's very difficult.
It
As you
is.
said, trying to find services, employment, training, it almost just seems to drop off. So thank
Exactly.
you guys, and please extend my thanks to John Williams for spending the time
I
and
will.
Mr. Palmer on doing this. So
I will
think it's
definitely do that. Yeah.
sounds exciting.
And I'm glad you said that 22. We knew in the school district, we're taking care of students up until age 22, and that's awesome. And we would never do anything to cut or undermine what anybody in the school district is doing. We were looking at that group of students who are 22 to 52, 62, who have never had that opportunity to transition into the workforce. And that's where our hearts were.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Palmer.
And again, it just goes to show you that our investment is not just with K through 12, but past that. And it's awesome that we are going to be able to get this program in place. Thank you, Ms. Hayes. All right, so now we'll move on down. 8.42, school readiness provider contract. 8.43, Okaloosa County School District 2021 through 2022 pupil progression plan.
I have something on that, please.
Yes, ma'am.
I spoke with Mr. Palmer, and one of the items I looked, particularly, of course, having been a secondary teacher, is a change in SAT assessment. And so our district is going to give the SAT to all 11th graders this coming year. And did you find some information, if you would share, please, Mr. Palmer? He was going to speak to funding of that, because that's a lot of tests.
Yes,
what'd you
ma'am.
find?
So the state is funding that project for everyone. Every 11th grader will take either the ACT or the SAT. We already give the PSAT. We have a relationship with the College Board, so we've chosen to give the SAT. And it'll be on a school day this spring. I don't think we've got it quite nailed down as to exactly which day, but the funding is coming from the state.
So it will be a spring testing? Because, you know, SAT does their own Saturday testing throughout the year.
Yes, ma'am. Our preliminary discussions have centered around it being a spring test. I'm not guaranteeing that because we're still in discussions on that, but I think that's going to be our primary time to look at.
Because remind me, what other assessments do 11th graders have in our district?
So there's a government test,
Okay, the
but that's at
government.
the end of the year.
Okay, so that's the EOC?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yes, ma'am.
So they don't have, they're done with FSA and all those things that, yeah.
If they passed it.
Yeah,
as
yeah,
a-
if they
yes, ma'am.
pass, yeah. Theoretically, they're done.
Right, correct.
So it's not like we're sitting them with an SAT and then an just bombarding them with tests.
Right.
That would be kind of their test for that year.
Right, yes.
I think it's great because the cost of these assessments, when parents have to pay for that Saturday, is quite,
It's almost $60
yeah.
per student.
Right,
So-
and usually it's more than one time that you have to
Right.
take it. So if they take one through the district, that would save the parents a lot. So thank
Yes,
you
ma'am.
for getting that for me.
You bet.
Appreciate it. Good.
And I appreciate you bringing that up, Ms. Ivanchik. And as you know, the SAT on Saturdays is one test that kids can volunteer to take, but the SAT school day is it's almost a different program, so to speak, even though it's the same test, but the goal is to get as many kids taking the test as possible that maybe would not have taken it. And then, of course, based on how those students do, now you have more opportunities as well. So it's exciting to be able to offer all students, in terms of juniors, the SAT, and I think it's going to be a really good thing for us.
It's also, they're concordant scores too, so if they don't pass FSA, there's a score on SAT, so they could override that or take the place of. So it's a win for everybody, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
Coming from the elementary side, I'm thrilled to see the kindergarten report card. I know I've spent many years, and year after year after year, the kindergarten report card changed. So with the new standards coming in, this looks really exciting. And maybe in the future, Ms. Lightbourne, or I know Ms. Reichel, or Ms. Berry, spent a lot of time on this, and she's training the kindergarten teachers to be prepared. But maybe just a little overview of what this new report card, because I know with our new parents coming in, that's always a quite concern to our parents on how they're going to be scored. So this is looking exciting, and I think I hear that this is it. It's not going to be a yearly change.
So now it'll be standards-based, which will be nice, and it will
Mhm.
not be a yearly change. And just for the board, just so you know, one of the nice things that Ms. Lightbourne has put in place is there will be weekly Zoom meetings with kindergarten teachers. So as we go into this new report card, so they'll be able to ask questions, the communication will be very clear, and everyone will be on the same page. So I appreciate them putting that into place.
Well, that's great, because they're, again, new standards, new report card, new year starting out, so that would be very helpful. Nice job preparing everybody.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chambers. Thank you, Ms. Gardner. And thank you, Mr. Paul. So now we'll move to 8.44, contract for health services between the School Board of Okaloosa County and Avena Healthcare. And I believe Ms. Schroeder would like to make a presentation. We have a lot of hardworking people in our district, but this woman here did a lot. So
Thank you.
It's great to see you, Ms. Schroeder.
Thank you. I just wanted to, as you consider this annual contract that we have with Avena, I'd like to make available, and I handed this sheet out to you before the meeting started, and Mr. Chambers, I put one on your desk as well. I've asked Bobby Davis to come and share with you. I think it's important that you see the number and the magnitude of interactions that Avena staff has with our students. So I've asked Bobby to put this together to share with you the amount of work that their staff did. So.
If you want to look at it real closely, Terry has circled just a couple numbers that stand out to you. The first number is the 49,365. That's the number of doses of medications that were administered in the clinics during the school year. So that's considerably high, considering, we didn't have as many students registered in schools, in the brick and mortar this year. So we still administered over 49,000 doses of medication. And then the other number that she circled is 143,852, and that's the number of interactions that we had actually with students coming in and out of the clinic with our clinic staff. So the clinics are busy, and with COVID this year, the clinics were extremely busy. It was quite challenging, but I feel like we jumped up to the challenge and we accepted it and we managed it the best we could. So it was a busy year this year for us.
And the board may or may not know, Bobby as well and her team, the way that they stepped up this year was incredible. They went above and beyond in so many ways, especially as it pertained to COVID, but also just in general. So absolutely appreciate what you did.
Thank you.
And then just as a way of background, you can see, and I know it's hard to see, but to get it all on one sheet, I had to shrink it. But if you put your glasses on like I had to do.
Yep, I already did that.
Yeah, you can see some of the other procedures that are taking place in our schools. And so, there's a lot of stuff going on health-wise with our students. If you have any questions about particularly what these are, I'll be happy to answer those for you if you want to give me a call or chat with me afterwards. But there's a lot of work going on to keep our kids well, healthy, and key is keep them in school. One of the things I did want to point out, there is a number down there in that last section in gray. Outcomes means what happens to those students when they come into our clinic, and you'll notice there's a number there, 113,844. That's how many children went back to class after being seen in the clinic, and I think that's important because the work that they're doing, we're keeping our kids in school and they're getting the instruction that they need. So I think that's real important. So I thank you for letting me share these numbers with you.
So-
Wow, thank you so
So
much.
Ms. Schroeder, real quick, Ms. Davis, just for the general public to know, tell us who you are and what you do.
My name is Bobby Davis. I am a registered nurse. I am the program director of the school health program here. This will be my 15th year now in Okaloosa County in the school health program. We staff all the clinic staff and manage all the medical needs of the students. We've had the contract for I think 12 years now. This will be our 13th year, and we have seen a increasing number of the medical needs of the students, over the years, and we manage all the medical needs that that are presented to us or that are reported to us.
So I have to always tell this little story about Ms. Davis here. When she was at Richburg Middle School, when it was Richburg Middle School, she was a school nurse there, but she was more known for her afternoon pickup and, the pickup procedure. She was the one always holding up the stop sign and making sure the traffic was going. And it just shows you that her dedication to our schools has been, just awesome. And I see that with a lot of our nurses throughout the schools, how they are a part of the team, and they do whatever is asked of them.
Thank you.
Especially this year, I know it's been really difficult. And I didn't see any nurses out there holding up stop signs.
No,
or
not this
anything
year.
like that.
No, that was my job.
And it was. She did a really good job. So.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Davis.
Thank
you,
you.
Ms. Shirley.
Thank you both for everything that you've done, and please relay that to all the health professionals that are in our schools. That phenomenal job,
Thank you.
especially last year. We appreciate it so much.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, so now we'll move to 8.45, Exceptional Student Education Policies and Procedures, SP&P. And then 8.46, Title IV, Part A, Student Support and Academic Enrichment Grant Narrative and Budget for 2021 through 2022. And before we move to Section 9, Mr. Chambers, I would just like to note that we have a lot of staff members here, but I also would like to say thank you to all the staff members who reach out to us before this meeting to go down every agenda item that's on there that's of significant importance for us, which all items are, but to explain things. So we do appreciate you calling ahead and, or emailing us like some of you do to keep us up to date on all these items that are on here. So now we'll move to Section 9, Superintendent's Human Resource Recommendations. And the first two will be informational only on Monday night. 9.1, Employees on Administrative Leave. 9.2, Deferred Retirement Option Program to drop. And then 9.3, Cleared Certification Requirements and Issuance of Contracts for the 2021 through 2022 school year. 9.4, Employment Separations. 9.5, Personnel Recommendations. 9.6, Employee Transfers. 9.7, Reinstatement Reimbursement of Sick Leave due to line of duty illness, injury, medical examination. And 9.8 will be leave without pay. Section 10, Discussion Agenda. Currently at this time, there's no items that are being moved from the consent agenda. And so we'll move down to Section 11, Construction Program Owners Representative Business. And I'll turn it over to Dr. Kelly.
Thank you. We will have our July meeting Monday morning. So Monday night at the school board meeting, I should have an exciting report to bring to you. Those are always enjoyable because it's so important and heartwarming to see the efforts that are being extended by our facilities program management team due to the sales tax initiative and also due to our capital fund. So lots of good things going on campuses all across this district.
Thank you, Dr. Kelly. And school board members, just so you know, I talked to Dr. Smith before the meeting, and he has a book of all of the property that we own. He's going to be passing them out to you, so that way you will have information on all the properties that we own throughout the county. I know he did one for us a few years ago, but with several new school board members on there, I asked him to do that again just to show what properties are out there. So thank you, Dr. Smith, for doing that. So we'll move to Section 11.2, Authorization for Professional Services Agreement from Faithful and Gould for price validation for program number 6, task order number 12, district-wide sales tax construction projects. And then Section 12, Information Technology Seat Management Contract, we have nothing. And Section 13, Attorney's Business, Mr. McInnes, you're up, sir.
No report.
Thank you, Mr. McInnes. So we'll move to Section 14, Superintendent's Business, and 14.1. It's always great to see the out-of-state student trip request on there again. And 14.2, Mr. Chambers, I'll turn it over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant, and appreciate the opportunity to come before you all and share some information. I want to start off by saying one of the obviouses, which is this has been a shorter summer. And I was sharing just before this meeting, when a summer goes 2 weeks short, many people would think not a big deal. But 2 weeks impacts a school district with all that has to be done over the course of a summer. And I say it that way because we have amazing employees who are doing a great job putting in a whole lot of time and effort to ensure that we are ready to go and prepared not only for the start of the school year, but also for the many meetings that we have in order to ensure that we're prepared for the start of the school year. So I just want to say that, and Dr. Kelly, I might steal a little bit of your thunder, just a little bit.
Again?
Well, I'll just say it this way. There's a limited number of days before the start of this school year. Dr. Kelly might share some of those probably later. So there's a limited number of days. I want to give a curriculum update and just say number of things that are going on right now. As we currently speak right now, there's a discipline meeting going on for all of our principals and our assistant principals in charge of discipline. And one of the things with the new law that states that schools have to have positive behavior interventions in place. So many of our schools are positive behavior schools, PBIS schools, and those who are not yet also are implementing positive behavior interventions at their school. This meeting today is important, ensuring that we're all on the same page as we go into this next school year. So I appreciate Ms. Lamb, Brian, in terms of what they're doing to prepare for this meeting. There was a lot. Also on the curriculum side, schools, as you know, this is a time of the year where school performance plans are being created. And there's a lot that goes into a school performance plan in terms of interactions, collaboration, teachers, administrators, coaches, all coming together to get that pure vision for their school of what does instruction look like at our school? How are we meeting the needs of all students, and with what we're referring to as accelerating learning. You know, the state and others have talked about learning loss. I think we are choosing to say that we are looking to accelerate learning. So that piece is going on. As you know, as we get into this upcoming school year, there will be new textbooks on the ELA side. We have a new platform, Canvas, that's going to allow us to have a platform where teachers can interact, where professional development can occur. There can be communication that goes forward, but that's something that they're also going to have to learn as well. And then throw in the best standards. So K through 2, as you know, that's going into place this year on the ELA side. And then we are also preparing for the best standards on ELA and math for the upcoming school year. I say all that to say, because there's a lot of things that are new that will be occurring as we go into this year and the subsequent years going forward. So a lot is going on in curriculum. I liken it to about 6 years ago when we started going to the FSA and those new standards, and all that had to be done, the documents that have to be created, all these documents in terms of understanding the best standards, they do not come to you. So we have individuals such as staff who's here, and I call them experts, who literally create the documents so teachers can get this information in a much more less stressful way. I'll just say that. So they do an absolutely fantastic job and appreciate that. Sr2 and Sr3. So as you know, Sr2 and Sr3 is a big deal for our school districts and school districts across the state of Florida. So we know we've received Sr1 funds. We've received a portion of the Sr2 funds. So we're still waiting on the second portion of Sr2. So there's no timeline on that right now. So we're just, we're eagerly waiting for those funds.
And where does this money come from?
This money comes from the federal level to the state, and then it's given out to each of the school districts. Each school district submits a plan, so we've submitted our Sr2 plan, but we're just waiting on those funds. And the state's done a great job of taking our calls, communicating with us, but right now the timeline's a little uncertain. And then Sr3 funds, also no timeline on Sr3 funds as well. But once we get that information, we'll make sure that we keep you up to speed on exactly where we are. Shifting over to school operations, as you know, we're in the process of many half-cent sales tax projects. You may have seen a little bit of a report on Channel 3 last week, so that was nice to see. But even right next door, you know, as you go into that front office, you'll see the transformation of what's happening there. You see roof replacements that's happening at different places, such as Mary Esther. There's work going on at Pryor. So there's a lot going on with the half-cent sales tax. That's just a little touch. But what also is occurring with the half-cent sales tax, it provides us, you know, some flexibility in our capital budget. And that's nice because now the half-cent sales tax projects, as you know, we used to kind of Band-Aid them. We would kind of piecemeal them. Now we're able to take care of them. And we had to account for that in our capital budget. And as we know, the capital budget didn't allow us to fully fix these items. So now with the half-cent sales tax project, it gives us a little bit more flexibility in the capital project. So Mr. Horton will be getting with you all soon. So you will see now where we're able to do even more with the capital budget as well. So very excited about that. You will also see on the capital budget, Mr. Horton will be bringing that forward. He'll speak to you, but also we'll bring the capital budget forward for board approval. So you'll start seeing a lot of that. Dr. Kelly will also be instrumental in that, so I appreciate that process there. And custodial staff. Again, a shortened summer and in a normal summer to get all these schools ready to go by the start of the school year, that's no easy task. So what they are doing right now, much appreciated for their work. You may have driven around to schools right now and you see some of the grass is might be nice, and some of the grass might be a little higher. Mr. Horton and Mr. Meyer are working with those companies to ensure that our grounds are prepared for the start of the school year. So you'll see some action or more action occurring in that area as well. Purple Star campuses. So the state of Florida has put out a Purple Star campus program, and that deals with the military. And the Department of Education hasn't put out the application yet to become a Purple Star school district, but what we will do is we will work with each and every one of our schools where we have the military students and ensure that each of our schools are Purple Star schools, which will then allow us to become a Purple Star school district. Mr. Horton will be leading that effort, but I think it is critical in our military community for us to show, the partnership that we have with Eglin, the partnership that we have with Herbert and the other military installations here as well. So we are excited and cannot wait to fill out that application. We already do a lot that's within the application. There'll be a few things that we may have to tweak and do, but it's probably nothing more worth it than to do that for our military families. July 15th, put it on your calendar. That's the Leadership Summit, no longer called the Admin Retreat, but it's a Leadership Summit. You'll see a little logo that's called Refuel, and that's part of the theme of this meeting is refueling for this upcoming school year. And lastly, I just want to again thank you, the board. This last school year has been challenging to say the least. We've talked about our teachers, our support professionals, our administrators who got us through this school year, district staff that got us through this school year, but also appreciate your leadership through a very tough time to get us to where we are today, and we're in a very good spot to be prepared for this upcoming school year, and that wouldn't happen without your leadership as well. So just appreciate what you've done.
Thank you, Mr. Chambers. All right. So now we'll move down to board members' announcements and requests for information. And today I will start with Ms. Avanchek.
I really don't have anything special, just excited to get a new school year going, and I think things are going great, so let's do it.
And Ms. Carter?
Just Mr. Chambers, you mentioned a second ago about the documents that the curriculum department are creating to help with the new standards. And I know that in the past, and I'm guessing now also, we're bringing in teachers to look at those standards, to provide their input. I mean, again, they're going to be the ones to use it. So not only do we have a shortened summer, teachers are also giving up their days to preview these, give their input for these documents for the entire district. So we thank the curriculum department for creating those, because I know how helpful those are, but also our teachers for giving up additional days from already a 2 weeks short summer. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And thank all of them.
And Dr. Kelly?
Oh, well, first of all, I would like to say congratulations to Kelly Hayes. This is quite a nice article in the 850 magazine. Very proud of you and of the programs at OTC, Okaloosa Technical College. Thank you for sharing that with us. And I do have just a couple of things for parents out there. First of all, the city of Fort Walton Beach is reestablishing their youth council program. I remember that program from when I was a principal at Bruner Middle School. They had that program going, and what it does is it allows the young people, and today's reinvestment of that program is rising 10th, 11th, and 12th graders to get involved in local government and to almost shadow those governmental leaders. So it's a great program to get those students started in understanding the role of local government. So the applications are available from now till August the 1st, and the only qualifications are that you be interested and that you be a rising 10th, 11th, and 12th grader and reside in the city of Fort Walton Beach. And then I thought this is what you were going to steal from me, Mr. Chambers. Congratulations to Niceville High School's track and field coach, Todd Brigman, for being recently named the Dairy Farmers Boys and Track 4A Coach of the Year. So congratulations to another Niceville High School coach. That's all that I have.
Thank you,
Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Kelly. And finally, Dr. White.
Nothing today, Mr. Bryan.
All right, thank you. And I would just end by saying, again, Mr. Chambers, thank you for the compliments to the board. I will just tell you, it has been a challenging year for all of us, but I always like to use the acronym TEAM, And together, everybody achieves more. And when we have been working together, I think that's one reason why we've been so successful this year, is because we have been working together as a team. And to all of the staff that's out there right now, thank you for being a part of that team, and we do appreciate it. It makes our jobs easier when we get that communication and we have that relationship with y'all. So we'll move down to section 16, public comment. This will be the 2-minute version of public comment. And before we adjourn, I'll go around the room. Ms. Perry, anything that you'd like? Dr. Held? Come on up, Dr. Held.
Thank you for having me up here very quickly, and I don't want to waste anybody's time, but I would like to just give one more final home stretch plug for tomorrow's Ed Support Fair, which is literally 24 hours and 20 minutes from this moment in this building. There is room for more, and I do want to also express my appreciation to the various media outlets and, of course, the board members that have helped spread the word. We are anticipating finding some new teammates, as you said, Mr. Bryant, tomorrow, and so we are very much looking forward to that. Again, our support professionals job fair will be right here in this room at 10 a.m. tomorrow, and we're looking forward to it. So, thank you.
Thank you,
Dr.
Doctor.
Hale, is there
Yes.
anything they need to bring? Just show up? I mean, is there anything we can share with them?
They need to bring a great attitude and a hearty work ethic.
I'm sure they will.
Just a quick question. Will there be employment decisions made tomorrow?
Yes, sir, there will be.
Excellent. So people will get hired tomorrow if they
People will
show
be
up.
hired tomorrow,
Awesome.
and we will begin with the not only the hiring process, but also the onboarding, and we're going to get everybody ready to go ASAP as we strive to fill our very, very critical positions that we have available. So,
Wonderful.
So real quick, Dr. Hill, you said critical positions. What are our top positions that we're looking for?
funny you ask. We currently have positions in the staff professional realm, custodial, cleaning, bus drivers, substitutes, paraprofessionals, all many opportunities. We will have representatives from those organizations here tomorrow as well to kind of do any type of information dissemination that may need to go to individual candidates who are interested. And also, they should bring a friend, but we are obviously looking for the support and people that are interested in help, as Mr. Chambers said in the newspaper the other day, people that have a passion for kids and want to make a difference in the lives of students. So custodial, cleaners, substitutes, bus drivers, there's a lot of maintenance positions as well. And we are ready, and we are offering full benefits for full-time employees, and full-time is 4 hours or more per day. So we are really interested in growing. So thank you for the opportunity.
And might I add
Yes, sir.
one other thing that might be of interest is that oftentimes folks that are not familiar with the school system might appreciate knowing that when taking one of the particular jobs that you mentioned, that down the road there are opportunities for transfer into other positions that folks might be interested in. And sometimes it kind of gives them a head start, if you will, on those transfers if they're already an employee of the school system, jobs like secretaries and clerks and so forth. So I just wanted to put that out there so that folks would know that if they get on board with us, there are opportunities down the road to transfer to other jobs that they might be interested in.
It's 100% accurate, and I do appreciate you saying that. In fact, and specifically through the substitute realm, a lot of future teachers like to get their feet wet as substitutes, and there's always room there as well. And
That's
I know
right.
that they're very appreciated.
Many of them often become full-time teachers.
Yes, sir. In fact, once upon a time, I was a substitute in this county.
Me too.
Well, it's interesting you say that because our front office secretary at Crestview High School is going to be an 8th grade social studies teacher at Pryor this year. And she started, like you said, at entry level and worked her way up. Now she's going to be one of our awesome teachers, so that's going to be great to see.
So thank you for that. I do appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, so we'll continue around the room. Mr. Butler, it's good to see you, sir. Anything? Ms. Applebert? Mr. Palmer? Mr. Horton? All right, this workshop's adjourned.